ship from sinking and try to resolve the conflict. But it calls on the greatest of communication. So jot this word down. It's a very important word in political circles, diplomacy. Diplomacy is having this sensitivity to the wider range of why people do what they do and why the conflict occurs, and then come up with an answer. Diplomacy. Big D, diplomacy. Not start another war, not start another conflict, but try to settle it to the best of your ability using the best art of diplomacy. Next, to have something good to say, you've got to have working knowledge. This is where your journal comes in. This is where gathering ideas comes in. This is where the notes you're taking this weekend come in. This is going to serve for you an incredibly good resource to go back, study, review, and pick up all these ideas that can be useful to you when you get ready to talk, when you get ready to speak, when you get ready to train, when you get ready to conduct a seminar, a lecture, or a family council. You'll have something good to say. So don't be lazy in language. Don't be lazy in gathering up ideas. I know it's hard work, but it's work that pays off so immensely. So that's number one. To achieve good communication, have something good to say. Now we've got to move on. Here's number two. Now you've got to say it well. Just because you know something and have plenty to say, now it's very important how you say it. Here's what we teach in sales. It's not so important what you say as how you say it, how you deliver the message. Key phrase, the manner in which you talk about the matter. Sometimes it's the manner that wins the day, not just the matter, but the manner. What if I invited you to a steak dinner at my house, and you sat down at the plate, had the napkin in your lap, and you were ready? But I backed up to the other side of the dining room, picked up this steak now that's well done, you could smell it, and it is ready to go. And I wind up like a big league ball player and let you have it right in the face. Isn't that one way to present a steak? So key phrase now, steak in the face. It's difficult for someone to say, thank you very much, take the steak off the face, put it in the plate and eat it. I'm telling you, I'd lose my appetite if somebody did that with me. So it's a lot different now, a steak in the face and a steak well presented. Same steak. Somebody's hungry. You got the message, you got the steak. But key phrase underlined, the manner in which you deliver the message. The way, the spirit, the sincerity, all that human stuff that we all possess. If that is present in the delivery, now it becomes palatable. Now it becomes reasonable in presentation. Now, saying it well is many things. Jot these down. Number one, repeating it until you can say it well. Repetition is the mother of learning to do it well. This is my 39th year. I should be pretty good by now. I appreciate that. Thank you. Should be. And I intend to get better. I don't want the day to come when someone says, you should have heard Jim Rohn 10 years ago when he was really terrific. I want someone to say, hey, I heard him 10 years ago, but you should hear him today. Hey, he's taken off some of the sharp edges. He digs a little deeper in his own heart and experiences and delivers a little softly, where he used to be a little harsh. I want my growth to be obvious. So, learning to say it well is practicing until you get good at it. Here's some other keys. Sincerity. If you present it with sincerity, it's hard to resist a personal appeal. A key that parents need to learn, making a personal appeal. Don't just say it's this way or the highway. Say, no, make a heartfelt personal appeal. I'm telling you, it's difficult for any of us to turn down a heartfelt, sincere personal appeal. That's difficult to resist. That's difficult to dismiss. Somebody coming on to beat you up and, create cruelty with their language, that's easy to dismiss. Not a personal appeal. Here's a few other things on saying it well. Brevity. And the better you get probably the less words you need to say what you want to say. You learn to be brief in presenting an idea. If it takes 2 hours to present one simple little idea, that's too long. You've got to learn to use what we call the economy of words. Say it in a sentence. Say it in a couple of sentences. Say it with a couple of illustrations and move on. Brevity. Jesus was powerful, but he was brief. To put his 12 disciples together, he wandered around the countryside. Every once in a while, he'd say, "You follow me." See, that's short. I mean, that's brief. This is no 1 hour sermon harangue. No. A simple invitation. You follow me. And I guess his magnetism was so unbelievable. His persona was so unique. And probably his reputation that preceded him was so great. He didn't have to say much. So jot this down. If the person you are is so unique, you probably don't have to say it. Now, one of the ways to learn to be brief is to talk to kids, because they don't have long to listen. You talk to kids for 30 seconds and they say, "How long is this going to take?" I mean, they got games to play. They got places to go. I mean, they can't hang around for an hour and listen to some long discourse. So, brevity. Now, here's a couple of other things. Style. Try to develop your style. But here's one of the ways now to develop your style. Be a student of style. Some people that learn to speak up a little stronger. You say, "Hey, I need to learn to do that. Speak up a little stronger because I see how effective it is." Not just to be loud, but just to be a little stronger in your presentation. Maybe learn to express with your face, right? Open up your eyes and express a little more on the outside what's on the inside. Gestures might be helpful. Frank Sinatra was the master of phrasing and timing and lyrics and the passion that he put into his singing. But one of the artful things about Sinatra's presentation was always the gestures. Right? His hand gestures as he gestured, which timed with the lyrics. The gestures as part of the lyrics became part of his style. Now, you don't want to just, let the gestures be the major thing everyone sees, but just to emphasize. If you've let your temper fly, wouldn't hurt to bang on the table. It's called exclamation point. Bam! When the time calls for it. Okay. Gestures, a little more of you into it. Now here's the next one. And Zig Ziglar talked a little bit about this, and that's vocabulary. You've got to have a good working vocabulary to be able to speak well. Some friends of mine took a survey among prisoners. They weren't looking for this. They had some rehabilitation program going. But here's what they found out. The more limited the vocabulary, the more tendency to poor behavior. Interesting. Here's why. Vocabulary is a way of seeing. What if you can't see very well? Imagine the mistakes you would make every day if you couldn't see very well. Not just seeing with your eyes, but seeing with your mind. What if you looked at everything a little distorted? Then you tried to make decisions during the day, where to go and what to do and what to restrain and what to let go. And if you made those mistakes every day, can you imagine how small a world you must have to live in by making such horrendous mistakes every day? And the reason why people make so many mistakes every day, especially sometimes in those early years, is because they can't see very well. What if you could only see the world through this little tiny hole? And somebody would describe the world as like this, and you say, "No, the world is like this." You say, "No, that's crazy. The world is like this. How come they think it's like this?" It's because that's all they can see. They can't see expanded opportunity. They can't see the promise of the future. They can't see the hope for tomorrow. The world is so small. Part of it is lack of exposure. Part of it is lack of association. And part of it is a limited vocabulary. Limited tools with which to see. Here's the next one. Limited tools with which to express. And if you can't express very well what's going on in your head, let alone your heart, you can imagine the mistakes you make. You can imagine the narrow, small world you live in. Finally, you only need a place 8 by 10 to live. because your world is so small from lack of sight. So keep working on your vocabulary. Next, in saying it well, don't fail to say it because you need the practice. Got a good phrase for you. We've heard the phrase, words are no substitute for action. I got another good phrase for you. Action is no substitute for words. Practice saying things well. Men probably need a little more coaching on this than women. Women seem to be able to express better, say things better, more readily willing to talk about it. Men need a little more encouragement. Don't let some act do all your talking. It's okay to give someone flowers, but flowers have a limited vocabulary. About the best flowers can say is, you remembered. That's about it. Flowers don't say, nobody in this world affects me like you do. See, that you have to put in the little card along with the flowers. So did you make the note? Don't let flowers do all the talking. You've got to add the little card. Express something yourself. Long after the flowers are gone, the card will stay with what you've said. When I was married to Judy, she gave me this fabulous watch for my birthday, and the watch was fine, but the words on the back that said, my love for all time, your Judy. See that? Those words were more valuable. I've still got the watch. And what's valuable to me is not that I've kept the watch. What's valuable to me is that I've kept the watch. So don't fail to say it.